it would be a good time to open the Advent calendar now. This is chai tea. Ingredients are black tea, natural chai, cinnamon and ginger flavors with other natural flavors, cardamom and clove. This sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I've tried chai tea before. I remember some years ago, I would really like Starbucks like chai latte. So I doubt that this is going to taste like that, but it doesn't have to. I can still enjoy it without it tasting like Starbucks chai latte, but that was when I used to buy Starbucks drinks occasionally. I never was the person to go there every day, not even every week. So I was a very infrequent customer to begin with, but when I learned certain things about Starbucks and their values, for me personally, I decided not to be a customer of theirs ever again. Whether that be buying a drink from them directly or buying Starbucks products, all of that, because I don't want to give them my money, because I don't support what they support. But I mean, that was just a personal thing that I wanted to do. Now, are there other companies that I am a customer of whose values I don't support? Probably. But for me, Starbucks was just one of the companies that I personally decided not to be a customer of anymore. Have I missed it? No, not at all. I really haven't missed it. In the beginning, maybe a little, but at this point, my personal convictions on the matter satisfy me more than their drinks do. So I will go ahead and brew this tea, and I'll be right back. I'm back with the tea, and I will give it a try. It's good. I went a little heavy on purpose with the milk that I added to this. It's good. I like it. I added a little bit of sugar as well. It's very good. No complaints from me. Besides that, I guess I'm supposed to describe what it tasted like. It tastes like mainly cinnamon and clove. And yes, some black tea. So far today, I've been editing and I've practiced the songs that I plan to play tomorrow at church. Christmas songs now, 4 different ones. Other than that, I'm going to make ginger cookies because they were requested of me, so I'll make some ginger cookies. I've used this specific ginger cookie recipe one time before and it turned out quite good, so I'll use it again. Now, I don't know the exact difference between ginger cookies and ginger snaps. Is there a difference? And then there's gingerbread. All I know is I prefer a soft ginger cookie. I don't like the kind that are hard and crispy. So these are that. These ginger cookies are soft and I like it that way. They're like more like kind of molasses ginger cookies. And I'm thinking about doubling the recipe so that I can maybe bring some to church tomorrow. We shall see if I'll do that, but I wanted to share a little tidbit of something relating to the Christian life and God and that sort of thing. And it's basically about this verse that tells us to store up our riches in heaven. You've probably heard it before or read it before. Storing up our riches in heaven. And so I was thinking about, have you noticed, maybe you yourself do this, people have like a 401k or a savings of some kind, a personal savings account, a 401k, some kind of retirement account perhaps. In any case, they are putting a little bit away every month, every paycheck, so that for some future use, some future need, they will have that money to use. Which I think is wise, which I think is normal, which I think would be a good thing to do. So I'm not saying anything against that. I am just laying that as a background. I'm laying that as an opener to this question. Are we investing at all in eternal ways? Are we investing at all in eternal ways? To not do so is much, much worse than not planning for retirement or not having anything in a savings account. Now, I understand that this concept is nothing but a joke to the world and pretty much a joke to anybody who is not a believer. This concept of storing up your riches in heaven is nothing but a joke to be scoffed at, if I may use that word, even though I don't like using the word scoff, because it recalls to my mind the fact that these people, some people who thought they could predict the date of the rapture, were calling everyone who didn't agree with them mockers and scoffers, or scoffers and mockers, or something along those lines. So I am repulsed by even using the same term that they have used recently. Okay, so my point is the concept of investing in eternal ways, of storing up your riches in heaven, that whole concept is nothing but a joke, basically, to anybody who isn't a believer. A believer in Jesus Christ is what I'm talking about. The most valuable things there are not valued by the world or the flesh. I think that would be a good thing for us Christians to get straight right off the bat, that some of the most valuable things are not valued by the world or our flesh. In fact, the world and our flesh, not only do they not value some of the most valuable things, but they are actively opposed to them. They're not just neutral towards them. But to live according to God's ways and values, is one way to be set apart. And when you are set apart, you are different than those who are not set apart. One of those differences being that you have a different set of values. And this difference should be clear. This difference should be clear. It shouldn't be an ambiguous, hidden, unknown thing. It should be quite clear. I believe as Christians we should receive and accept these differences. Accept these differences and don't be embarrassed by them. Be glad for these differences and don't be embarrassed by them. Can I give an example of that? Yes, I can. It came to my mind where I think a few videos ago, one of the Vlogmas videos that I posted a few videos ago, I was saying something about having a hard time finding a movie to watch. Now, I realize this is a small example, but still, I'm going to use it anyway. Okay, so I said I had difficulty finding a movie to watch because so many of the movies I try watching have something going on in them that I don't want to watch. And I might have said in that Vlogmas video where I was talking about I had difficulty finding a movie to watch, I might have said that I don't find that entertaining. And that's true, but that is not the main reason. I don't think it's simply because, oh, I don't quite find that entertaining, so I'm going to find something else to watch. I don't think it's that shallow. There's something deeper. There's something in me that is recoiling from taking in that imagery into my eyes. Taking in that imagery. Dare I say, it might be Holy Spirit in me who is not okay with it. And therefore, I don't feel okay with it. And that is a difference. Okay, there may be exceptions. Maybe other people who aren't Christians, who aren't believers, maybe they too recoil from watching the garbage that is in a lot of movies. Maybe. But the point I'm trying to make is there should be clear differences by how a Christian lives and how someone who isn't a Christian lives. And I shouldn't be embarrassed by those differences, but instead be glad for them and accept them and live accordingly. I bring that up because I did feel a certain amount of embarrassment admitting that I don't want to watch certain things for sheer entertainment, things that are, what's the word? I have many words that I could choose from. What shall I use? Gross, perverted, disgusting, unholy. What word shall I use to describe some of the garbage that is in movies, that are in movies? I was slightly embarrassed to admit that I don't want to watch that I don't want to watch that. And why? Why did I feel that way? It was because it comes off like I'm a stick in the mud. It comes off like I'm that rigid type of person. I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but I felt a little tiny bit of embarrassment admitting the fact that I don't want to watch certain things in movies. And I shouldn't feel that way. If there is any embarrassment and conviction to be felt about a thing, let it be on the other side of the coin. People who do engage in watching that type of stuff willingly. In fact, maybe seek it out to watch. If there's going to be any embarrassment involved, let them feel embarrassed, not me, for not wanting to watch it. So I share this so that we believers stop being embarrassed for the differences that we should clearly have in our lives. The differences that we have because we value what God values, and we are trying not to value what the world and the flesh does, and the enemy too. We are trying not to share the values of the world, the flesh, and the devil. We are trying to share the values of God. And because of that, there should be differences between those who are set apart and those who are not set apart. And basically, don't be embarrassed for those differences that may be seen in you, that may be seen in me. So that's one thing I wanted to share, but I started this with investing in eternal things, of storing up our riches in heaven. Yes, I see people quite interested in, quite involved with trying to set aside money for the future, either in a savings account for some future use or like a retirement account, which is good. That's good that they are thinking ahead and trying to do what they need to do. I just want to add to that, are we considering at all about investing in eternal things? About storing up our riches in heaven? That is all. That is all. I just wanted to add that as something to consider, because as I said, I see people quite diligent in trying to plan for retirement and stuff like that. Quite diligent, quite disciplined. That's good. But what about eternal things? I'm mainly speaking to Christians right now because I don't expect unbelievers to care at all about investing in eternal things. Why would they? I'm mainly talking to Christians. Are you investing in eternal things, storing up your riches in heaven as we're told to do? Because that's where we're going to spend eternity. It won't be here, as we know, as we should know. It won't be here enjoying our retirement forever. Our forever is in heaven. So I hope that when we get there, we got some treasures to enjoy. Just some food for thought. That is my tidbit or two for today. It's a little bit later in the evening now, and I realized that I forgot to read the door of the Advent calendar for day 13. So for continuity's sake, I would like to do that. It says, brighten up with tea. Scan the QR code to create a recipe to awaken your senses. Then try a quick burst of holiday shopping or gift wrapping. Get festive, get productive. Yeah, I guess it follows that this particular time of year, productivity means holiday shopping and gift wrapping. I guess that is what I'm gathering from this. Getting productive this time of year is shopping and gift wrapping. Personally, I have a different idea of productivity. I have a different idea of productivity rather than shopping and gift wrapping. All right, so, there was another thing. I wanted to follow up on something I mentioned earlier in this Vlogmas series, I was talking about different types of tea. I was talking about a specific tea that I thought tasted like dessert once you add sugar and milk to it. It's this one. Toasted coconut almond bark. And yes, it's from a different brand. I am not loyal to Twinings or Bigelow, but I mean, toasted coconut almond bark. It was quite good. I was surprised how good this was. One time I couldn't find it in store, so I ordered it off of Amazon, but now I can find it in store. Besides that, I did get some ginger cookies baked. I did double the recipe, except as I tend to do, I analyze if a thing turned out well or not, or if it could be improved. I tend to do that. So I did that with my own baking today. And I would say it turned out good, except I think next time if I ever make this recipe again, I will reduce the amount of salt. To me personally, it seemed just a little salty. They're edible, definitely. I'm just nitpicking at my own baking. Anyway, to my taste buds, it was just a little salty. So that is my assessment of how my baking went today. In the future, if I make it again, I'll just reduce the salt a little bit. But speaking of reducing salt, yes, so while these ginger cookies to me were a little too salty, I hope that believers, since we are supposed to be the salt of the earth, that we don't think we're too salty. We're supposed to be salty. Maybe I could tie it to what I was saying earlier about feeling a little bit of embarrassment when you are trying to hold to some values that the Lord has in your life, and feeling a little bit of embarrassment at times because it makes you feel set apart and different than other people, which it will. We are supposed to be salty. That's how we're supposed to be. And so don't be embarrassed for being the salt of the earth. Don't be embarrassed for being different and set apart. I am home now. Another Sunday morning church service is in the books. And what can I say? I hope that, I feel that, and I hope that I am the one that notices the mistakes I make in my piano playing more than anybody else. I hope that I am the one who notices that more than anybody else, because anyways, I made some mistakes which I'm not happy about, but they happen sometimes, and I tend to want to not make any mistakes whatsoever. So anyway, I got through it, and I think I won't go into more than that about how the Sunday morning church service went, other than when I arrived at the church building, I was already in a mood. Because why? Because do you ever have these mornings where it's like, can you get out of the house yet? It's one thing after another, forgetting this, have to do this before you leave, have to do this, have to do that. And then it was like that. And then I couldn't find my car keys that I just had in my hand. Suddenly I can't find them. And so getting out the door this morning was more difficult than usual. And I don't like to arrive at the church building already in a mood. I would prefer to arrive in a state of calm and peace and focus, but I was not there this morning. And I wonder if that is not more common than I imagine. People who do attend church services, I'm wondering that the process of getting yourself to wherever the meeting is being held, it may not go as smoothly as you might imagine. What do I mean by that? Difficulty in even getting there. Like, let's say maybe if you ride with somebody to a church service, maybe that is the moment in time that you decide to start arguing about something right on your way to a church meeting, or just something that makes the process of even just getting yourself to a church meeting like difficult or something. I tend to think that that is a little more common than I imagine. And then when you get there, and then when you get to the church meeting, you're like supposed to be peaceable and in a good mood and ready to receive words from God or something, and meanwhile you're agitated about what it took to even walk in the door. And then, at least for me, I would like to feel like I'm going to be sensitive to Holy Spirit there, sensitive to what I may possibly be able to be edified by. And it's a little more difficult when the process of even getting through the door was difficult. As I said, I'm thinking that may be more common than I imagine, but of course, if I'm wrong and it's not common at all, and most people can get themselves to a church meeting extremely smoothly with not a hitch in the whole process, well, then that's good. I'm glad that I would be wrong in that case. Anyways, I think this would be a good time to open the Advent calendar for today. And what is it? Is it day 14? This tea is lemon and ginger. It is naturally caffeine free. It's telling me that it's warming and zesty to help soothe digestion. And the ingredients are ginger root, natural lemon and ginger flavors with other natural flavors, lemongrass, blackberry leaves, lemon peels. This particular one, right off the bat, doesn't seem very appetizing to me. Lemon and ginger. We'll see though. I will brew this and give it a try. But before I do that, I want to follow up on something that I said yesterday. I was saying those ginger cookies that I made were too salty. Today I had one, actually I had two today, but today they don't taste too salty at all to me. Yesterday I tasted them and they were too salty, but I'm thinking something changed overnight. Like when I ate them yesterday, they had just basically come out of the oven. So they were like extra fresh. And I think something, the flavors changed as the cookies cooled more. Something changed. And so now what I'm saying is I don't think they're too salty at all. And they tasted better today anyway. Like overall, the texture was better today too. Still soft, but not like almost too soft when they were, you know, had more recently come out of the oven. So something changed. And so I'm saying they were fine, which I'm grateful for. I did bring some to church, so I'm glad that they tasted better. I don't know if you've experienced this if you do any cooking. Have you noticed, like, especially if you cook a soup, the next day, if you eat more of it, it tastes better? Like the flavors melded together more or something. Yes, I think other food items taste better the same day that you make them. Definitely. Some food items taste best as soon as they're done, as soon as you've finished preparing them, but other items, it's like they taste much better the next day. I think it was something like that. But with cookies. All right, I have the tea brewing here. I will let it sit there for a minute before I try it. And in the meantime, I will read the door for day 14 of the Advent calendar. It says, stir, sip, smile. Get playful with your tea by adding a drizzle of honey. Then call up a loved one for a holiday chat. All right, well, before reading that, I fixed my tea and I did add a little bit of honey this time instead of a little bit of sugar. As far as the other thing it was talking about, call somebody up to chat with them. I don't like phone calls. I don't like talking on the phone. And that's just me. I'm not saying anything about people who do like to talk on the phone. I'm just talking about me. I don't like phone conversations. I don't like talking on the phone. I never have. I don't like it because I find it hard. Because I can't see the person, and I don't know what their body language is doing. I don't know if they're pausing or if they are thinking or what is happening. It just feels like all I have on the end of the line is their verbal communication, and I just find it difficult. Well, especially for me, as far as if I'm talking on the phone to somebody, I don't know if you've noticed in these Vlogmas videos or any of my other ones, they're edited. I mean, I can cut out segments of time where I'm saying nothing because I'm actually trying to think of what to say. I can edit when I'm talking to a camera, but sometimes my speech is slow. It is sometimes halting. It sometimes takes me time to think of what to say. And that can be difficult enough even talking to a camera, but it's even worse on the phone because these times that I would like to take to think on the other end of the line, it's just silence. Where if the person was with me, they could see that I was thinking, they could read some body language and know what's going on. I just feel like, yes, you can communicate verbally over a phone call, of course, but other types of communication is lost. And when those other types of communication is lost, I feel it just makes it more difficult for me. I don't like talking on the phone. I would much rather text. That is sometimes better than even talking to somebody face to face for me, because I have better written communication skills and I can edit to my heart's delight. I have all the time in the world to edit a text and make it say exactly what I want it to say, which I can't do very well just talking. Really, I don't know if talking has ever been a strong point of mine, come to think of it. I'm a little bit better at it now, but still, I don't know if you've noticed. To me, my speech can be a little slow, and it's like I take almost too much time to think about what I'm going to say. Can you tell how even when the words are coming out of my mouth, it is halting like that? It doesn't just flow out. Yes, so I don't really prefer phone calls. I will, if I can all help it, I will not be calling anybody today. But yes, it is unusual. I mean, I would have never guessed that I would ever be in front of a camera talking like I am even now. Never. That would be like the last thing I would have ever imagined me doing. Making videos and talking in videos, recording myself. That's like the last thing I ever thought I would be doing. Because I feel much more comfortable writing, written communication, even body language at times is easier than verbal communication. As I said, I don't think talking has ever been a strong point of mine, but here I am using what I feel is not a strong point of mine. In fact, when I was a kid, I was painfully quiet. People would call me shy. Maybe I was that too. But I remember one time I was in a store. I was, I don't know how young I was, maybe 9 years old, maybe 10. I distinctly remember I was minding my business in this store. I don't remember what store it was. I was just there, right, with probably my parents. But one of the workers, this woman behind the counter, asked me something. I don't remember what it was. I just said I distinctly remember this, and yet I kind of don't distinctly remember what she asked me, but she tried to say something to me, tried to communicate to me, and I said nothing. Absolutely nothing, and I didn't feel bad about it at all, but then she ended up asking me if I could even talk. That's how quiet I used to be. No, I have never been one to talk. Sometimes still I can be that way. And I don't know what it is. I just have accepted the fact that that is sometimes how I am. And I used to really dislike that about myself. But now it's okay with me. I have accepted myself. I'm not going to go through the rest of my life hating how I am, that's for sure. If that's just a bit of my nature, then that's just a bit of my nature, and if other people don't like it, that's fine. I don't have to dislike it. In fact, now sometimes when I'm quiet, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, other people usually do enough talking for everybody in the whole room, so I appreciate sometimes that I am quiet. People are doing all the talking anyway. And if I don't have something worth saying, I don't feel like talking. Why talk just to talk? I don't like small talk. If I don't have anything important to say, I most likely will not be saying anything unless I feel obligated because of the social situation I may find myself in where I feel obligated to make small talk. So I will do that and play that little game, the social game, because that is what is expected, and I understand that that is what makes people comfortable. I have come to understand that quiet people are not that comfortable for other people to be around most of the time. especially if they're talkative and you're quiet. I have come to understand that that makes other people uncomfortable. So because I don't necessarily want to make people uncomfortable for no good reason, I will sometimes play the little social game and make some small talk, which feels so like, what is the actual point of that? The point of it for me is to make the other person feel a little bit comfortable, that's all. Well, sometimes I actually, no, it depends. Sometimes I'll make small talk to make small talk because that is the social game, but other times, of course, I am genuinely interested in their life. But yes, I don't talk a lot usually. On camera I do, because how else am I supposed to communicate, and what else am I supposed to do on camera? But this is the most talking I do all day. If I'm talking to the camera, this is the most talking I do all day. Otherwise, I'm more introverted. I'm thinking a lot and listening to other people. Speaking of listening, I don't care to go to the effort to talk to somebody if they aren't going to be listening. It actually feels like work for me to talk. It can be draining to be social. I understand that for other people, they get energized from talking and being social, and it really fills them up. For me, it drains me. So if I see that someone is not listening to me, I won't go to the effort to talk, because that's a waste of my energy. So sometimes that happens. I see that someone's not really listening anyway, so I'll just stop talking, because I don't want to waste my energy. No, I have never been known to be talkative, except in these videos. It may give a false impression of that. These videos might give a false impression that I am talkative, but really I'm not. In person, I am not. And with that, I think I'll taste this tea. As I thought, that doesn't really hit the spot for me. Very gingery. A little bit of lemon, mostly the ginger's coming through the most, and ginger is nice in the right things, but just drinking straight like ginger tea is not my favorite. Anyway, yes, most of the people who I know in real life would say that I was quiet. A quiet person. That's fine with me. It'd be accurate. That would be an accurate assessment. But yes, if I'm in a social situation, I don't mind if the other person is talking, because that means I don't have to. Conversely, if I can be around somebody and we can both be comfortable in silence, that's pretty nice. Where you don't have to fill the silence with talking to make each other feel comfortable, and you can just exist together, like in the same room or in a car, in silence, and you're okay with it. I appreciate when I can get to that point with somebody. So anyway, that's just a little bit about me. As far as the rest of this day goes, I'm not sure exactly what else I will do. All I've done today so far is go to the church service, and I played Christmas songs this morning, and I had something to eat when I got home, and I'm doing this here in front of the camera. So as far as the rest of the day goes, I'm not sure yet. So if you don't see me again today, I hope to see you again in the next Vlogmas video. So yesterday, I believe, no, day before yesterday, I was talking about wanting to learn Ilocano, which is a dialect in the Philippines. I was talking about that the day before yesterday, that I would like to learn that language. I would like to learn it, yes. I do know a song in that language. I can sing it, and I can do so just because I remember how it's supposed to sound. I actually don't know what I'm saying. But I mean, I asked my mom at one point, what is this song talking about? And she said it was talking about God. But I thought I'd sing it. Yes, I thought I'd try to sing it on camera, just by memory of how it's supposed to sound, an Ilocano song. So I will try to do that. So if you don't want to hear me sing, you can stop watching, and I won't blame you, because I did a little bit of singing on camera the other day, and it was painful for me to edit that video and listen to myself sing. I mean, to me, it took me a while to even be able to edit these videos and hear myself talk and not feel funny hearing yourself talk. But the name of this song is called Kari Ti Dios. I don't even know what that means. Dios is God. I know that much. I don't know what Kari Ti Dios means. In fact, I think an alternate title to this song was Ti Tunggal Aldao. And I don't know what that means either. Okay, let's see. So, I will give this a try. If it makes it through my editing process and actually ends up in a video, that I'll be surprised. Okay, so it goes. Ti tunggal aldao, ti panagbiag ko, adu salud sur umapay panunod ko, apay dumteng liday, panagtuok day to'y puso, diak maawatan du sa weno panubog. Ngem ti Kari Ti Dios, si bibiyagawan ingana, sabten na amin, akasapulan ti anak na, ngem kuna na anak, ad agmataleka lata, adarag sakal pasan rigat masagapa. Iti tiempo tinag, panagmay maysa, tiapo Dios umdat, amagliuliwa, iti oras, iti inak panagsagapa, punasen na amina panagdudwa. Ngem ti Kari Ti Dios, si bibiyagawan ingana, sabten na amin, akasapulan ti anak na, ngem kuna na anak, agmataleka lata, adarag sakal pasan rigat masagapa. Ti tunggal kanito nga enak mapan panunot kinaimbag ti Dios saan ko amarukod awan ngarod rason ti inak panagsanod panagservi ka sa pulan panagtuloy ngem ti Kari Ti Dios si bibiyag awan hinggana sabten na amin akasapulan ti anak na ngem kuna na anak agmatalek kalata adda ragsakal pasanrigat masagaba adda ragsakal pasanrigat masagaba. Now I don't know what I was saying, but just how it sounds. Don't mind my singing, okay? I know I'm not a singer. I'm not trying to be. But just the sound of that, I like. I like the sound of that song, and I will try to include the English interpretation of what I just sang. And I mean, my mom told me once what it all means, but I forgot most of it, but what I remember is that it was kind of a, I don't know, I think it was like a touching song to the Lord. Yes, so I just remember how it's supposed to sound, so I sang it phonetically.